with him.
Woo! What is up, YouTube? My Cowboys family here, bringing you guys the latest update on our very own Dallas Cowboys. And of course, as always, thank you so much for joining us here tonight. Take a second to hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, follow us anywhere and everywhere at My Cowboys Family, and of course, hop in the Discord. Link for that's in the description box down below. And as we get rolling in here tonight, guys, we do have some Cowboy news, some info, some updates. And of course, as always, every time we kick things off, here's some shout-outs to give out.
Yeah, you know, we got the Niners coming up. And again, it was usually tonight's our, usually Tuesday night, but we had to push it to Wednesday night. Usually this is our recap of the last game on Sunday, which of course it was none. It was a bye week, so it took it a little easier. And then, of course, there is also the preview. So tonight's just the preview, basically, guys. But we also have a lot of other news to talk about when it comes to our Cowboys and Jerry Jones blaming Mike McCarthy. We'll talk about things and injuries and all that stuff. And the Niners, as you can see, are also injured. So we'll talk about all that tonight and more as we kind of get a quick breakdown of this matchup against the Niners. And on Friday, Fan Friday or Saturday, we'll have one last stream before game day. For the big game on Sunday against the Niners, where we'll do the more in-depth breakdown with the information basically on matchups and keys to victory. But in the meantime, like you said, baby, right now, before we get to all of that, let's talk about the people repping the boards, and that is first and foremost represented by John Luna. Much love to him. He is not just the sponsor of the week. He's a sponsor week back-to-back.
That's right.
Like our 90s Cowboys. And also, he is currently, with 58 points, the boss of the stream. The stream boss there, John Luna. Right there, almost in the middle of that stream boss, holding it down. Big shout-outs to him. He's currently in the lead for a possible three-peat as a sponsor of the week. By the way, big shout-outs to John Luna because he did drop a little love in the thanks section.
That's
yes.
right.
Very, rare thing. Not everybody always does it, but he did it in a huge way. A $50 holler from John Luna. He said, "Thanks for providing such great content and enthusiasm. You all are the best. Appreciate you, John Luna." He's a Houston Texan fan, but he loves the passion we bring here at My Cowboys Family. So we appreciate and love him and appreciate the fact, you got to understand, we appreciate and love everybody out there who represents their team, even if it's not our team. We understand the passion.
Exactly.
So big shout out to John Luna. As he's currently in the lead, as you can see there on the leaderboard for this week, over Marco Seppian, and currently in first place for John Luna there. Now, you also got Skeptical Fan, always staying skeptical. He's the Cash App King.
That's right.
Big shout out to Skeptical. Much love to him. But we have the guy who's the leader this week, and his name is James Herr. Big shout out to James Herr. And he just dropped it last week in the Streamlabs. We'll explain that in a minute. But James Herr currently in the running there for the king of the Cash App. And we also have the gifting membership side of things, which is currently being, dominated by the gifting queen.
Chill Pill.
Chill Pill. Big shout out to Chill Pill, who's been dominating on the After Dark channels. That's the main channel 1 and 2. She's currently the sponsor of the month, you can say, for the last 3 months over there. And here, she's currently the gifting queen. So big shout outs to her. Now, who's going to take it down this week? Right now, John Luna is in the lead. So give another big shout out to John Luna, who's kind of taken over many parts of this board last week and continuing some of that this week and maybe venturing into new areas for John Luna. We'll see what happens. I also want to shout out a couple other people here who are in the membership or different ways in the membership here, like William Burney in the Navy Blue crew, and JD from DC. Big shout outs to both you guys. Yes, appreciate you guys over there in the jumping back in the Navy Blue crew membership side. There's a lot of ways to drop the love here and help and support the channel. There's the super chat, of course. You see at the bottom right there of in the chat of your screen there. Then you also have the thanks button, which John Luna just did yesterday. So big shout outs again to him doing that. You have, of course, you can jump in the memberships, like we just said. William Burney, JD from DC, big shout outs to you guys. Examples of people jumping back in the membership in 4 different levels, right? Navy, Blue, Silver, Star, and over everything. And then, last but not least, there's once you're in the membership, any of the levels, you can gift memberships. And that's why I say Chill Pill, the queen of the gifting side of things, is a great way of helping not just us, but also give people a free month of the Navy Blue. And get to use those emojis and those other perks you get there on the channel as part of that membership. So a great big help to the channel and to the people on the channel. So thank you for those that do that, like Chill Pill, like John Luna, who's leading it this week. There's just 4 ways through the YouTube side, but there's 4 ways that we use usually on the After Dark, MCF After Dark channels. And there's 4 ways, baby. What are the 4 ways that we
have? Of course, the Cash App Money Sound My Cowboys Family, the Venmo at My-Cowboys-Family, the regular PayPal link, and last but not least, the Streamlabs link lets your comment show up on screen like a super chat would.
You know it. And just so you guys remember, there's always a monthly raffle here, a jersey raffle, sewn and stitched. It's Cowboys out here for us, but John Luna, who's our last winner, he's going to go with a Houston Astros jersey. So it's any team, any sport, basically, and any player that's available. That we have available, so and multiple different styles for, again, all these teams and sports and all that stuff. So anyways, big shout outs to all those in the star level membership and the over everything level membership who are automatically entered into these every month. The star level gets 1 raffle entry, over everything gets 2 raffle entries, and the weekly winners, by the way, the sponsor of the week, like John Luna, gets bonus raffle entries, and it could be anybody. You don't have to be in the membership to be in this one. You can be in no membership level and still be a weekly winner and be, just get all you need is 1 raffle entry to get one of these jerseys, sewn and stitched. Like I said, men, women, children's sizes, all different kinds of styles, and like I said, not just Cowboys. It's other teams in the NFL and MLB and NBA, NHL, so and maybe even some soccer. So anyways, a lot of options there to work with if you want a special, a jersey that's not Dallas Cowboys. But of course, we have so many Dallas Cowboys jerseys to pick from. You can't miss there. Big shout outs to everybody in those levels. And baby, we also do the nightly shout outs for those that are in the star and over everything level. So let's do that right now here without further ado.
Of course, thank you very much to Skeptical Fan, Jetly44, LC, John Luna, and Over Everything. Chill Pill.
And one of our former Over Everythings who may be coming back. I know we had one more for the man Seabass, who's going to jump in here. Hopefully we get him in here for the Fan Friday or Saturday stream that's coming up the next stream up here. We're hopeful we can get them in there. Now, baby, let's do the shout-outs in the chat so we can get to the Cowboy news info and those updates.
Of course. And just a quick little comment for everybody here chilling in the chat. Looks like YouTube's having a bit of a glitch, so I can't read all the comments, only what they're deeming the top comments. So if you are here and I didn't shout you out, just keep posting in the chat. I promise you YouTube will let you through somehow. So Corey Hicks, what's up? We have Scorpio representing much love. Well, back here, True Cowboys. Yeah, let's get this win Sunday night. Hey, through hell or high water, always hoping for a win from our Cowboys.
Oh, well, guess who's back?
Don't call it a comeback, but Mr. C. Bass over everything. Ooh. Representation there. Woo! Huge shout out to Mr. C. Bass. Appreciate you. Much love.
I'm pretty sure he was in the navy blue, if I was not mistaken. Yes. So, big time shout out to C. Bass. In the over, this is his first time we have 2 Over Everything members at the same time.
That's right.
So we got Over Everything with Chill Pill and Over Everything with the man C. Bass. Appreciate you, brother. And let me get this stuff fixed in the background, and you can continue doing the shout outs, baby.
Of course. Well, shout out to the man C. Bass.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Thanks for being here. We have James Herr, hello and hi.
He's in the
of course, Scorpio, much love. Rolling back a little bit more, we have James Payne. Thanks for being here as well. Daniel Berry Sports, shout out to you.
Hell yeah.
We have WTP Niners. Jira Jones. Thank you, Jira. Right, Kathy Mardis, thank you for joining us here. Looks like Freedom First was first. Shout out to you. Corey, not sure. We're focused here on our cowboy thing we're doing right now. And we had some family time earlier tonight, so not really sure what's going on the YouTube world side of things. So,
yeah, I'll have to catch, and we probably won't have an after dark tonight. But yeah, always something going on in the YouTube world. You know that goes.
Oh, of course. So, and speaking of what's been going on, Jerry, just saying, there's been some more back and forth since the last time that we were live between Jerry Jones and McCarthy's kind of trying to, I guess, deflect some of Jerry's comments as Jerry continues to try to dig himself out of the hole that he dug himself into the previous week with some of the things that he said as far as, the radio hosts and them needing to shut up and learn their place, and how dare you criticize the team, and oh, by the way, we're still not doing anything. So, just that. Oh, so what's up, Traveling Fools? Thanks for joining us here. What's
Fools
up?
In the house. We actually have some Tua news for you.
Oh, there you go.
I'm sure he knows. He's a Dolphin fan.
Kind of rolling back a little bit here. True Cow, yeah, let's get this win. I think I shut out that comment.
All right, well, I'm going to get this going here in a minute. I just want to make sure I got Seabass back on that board. And also tied in third place with Chill Pill is Seabass. So big shout outs to him there on the overall board as well.
Let me see here. By the way, Jared Jones earlier said, looks like I have to bail Aubrey out on that felony case. So, which, this probably does mark a historic first where a Cowboy player needs to go to court. And it's not for some kind of shenanigans that they were up to.
Yeah. But it is some major
that's
shenanigans.
Always a nice little pleasant plot twist, so to speak. So, let me see here. James Herr said, Jerry is the man. It's his team, and he does what he wants.
He does, but it doesn't mean he's wrong. He can do what he wants, but he can still be wrong. James Herr, by the way, he is in first place on the Cash App board this week. I just want to shout him out on that side of things. Now, I got the board updated. Any other comments before we get rolling here, baby?
Let me see here. We have Brandon J. What's up?
Hey.
Bruce got the toxic juice saying we've progressed from clown show to shit show. Hey, I mean, that's downward progress if I've ever seen it. Aztec Aguilar 04 said they have court on Sundays. Oh, oh man. It's going to be I have a feeling it's going to be a long rest of the season here, but
we'll
let's
see what
hope
happens.
it flies by.
It has to be the turning point. We're going to talk about it right now. So let me get going, baby. Let me get it rolling here, else.
Final comment here. Jared Jones said, if this was a home game, I'd have to have homeless people around AT&T Stadium to make the Niners feel at home.
Yeah, there's a lot of homeless encampments over there. So we'll talk about the Niners. Trust me, we will. But first, let me start off with NFL news. Mm-hmm. and kind of important stuff that's going around in the league the last couple of days because this is getting closer to the trade deadline, November 5th, and there's teams making those last-second moves to kind of improve that team for this maybe one run here to try to either get into playoffs or more. So the Saints and Alvin Kamara supposedly was being shopped around for a trade. Alvin Kamara agreed on a 2-year, $24.5 million extension and puts him under contract through 2026. So this deal puts, he's 2017 third-round draft pick. He's basically now in a position to retire a Saint, basically. You know what I'm saying? So not going to be traded. Some people were saying he might come to Dallas. Before it can even go live, he was re-signed by the Saints. So in case you're wondering if any of these guys ever come to Dallas, the answer is no. None of them coming to Dallas. Cowboys are not trading, and the Cowboys are not paying.
I've never seen Jerry quadruple down on something as hard as he has now. Kind of crazy.
Yeah, well, but not surprising at this point, right? So we know that already from him. Now, since speaking of moves and trades, the Vikings and Rams, serious trade talks for Matthew Stafford. And it's funny because I think they play each other this week as well. But there's trade talks between them for Matthew Stafford. Minnesota made a push to trade for Stafford this offseason, but now they're revisiting with the idea that he can maybe be a piece to help them win a Super Bowl. Remember, guys, Sam Darnold got was he the one over there but he got into a car accident, I think, and he was banged up, and I think he'll be okay, but they still kind of looking to maybe make that one piece push him over the top. I don't know. Also, by the way, the Rams are looking to looks like it's a fire sale because they're trying to get rid of Cooper Kupp. It looks like Super Bowl MVP, former Super Bowl MVP Cooper Kupp. There, the Rams have indicated a willingness to take on some of his 2024 salary hit, and they're seeking a second-round pick. Basically, he'll be cheap, but you got to give up a second-round pick. At least he'll be cheap this year. So, Cowboys gonna get him? No. Again, I know there's a lot of channels out there that will try to hype it up because there's nothing else to talk about, but we don't lie here. We'll be shocked if the Cowboys would make a trade for anybody of name, including Cooper Kupp. And if you want him or not, it doesn't even matter. You don't want him for the price you're going to have to pay. But Cooper Kupp is also kind of on the downhill side of things. There's no reason to bring him into Dallas, in my opinion. Now, the Cardinals, to go with some injury news here. Let me go back to this was kind of like 2 days ago. Dennis Gardeck from the Cardinals playing Monday night. They did win in that last-second game that nobody got to see on ESPN Plus against the Chargers. Dennis Gardeck, a linebacker, really a pass rusher, tore his ACL. Big loss for Arizona. 7th-year veteran, had 3 sacks, an interception, and a forced fumble in 7 games this year. So a big loss for the Cardinals for a guy who makes plays. Now, also in the Monday night game, you just might have seen the other Monday night game, the Buccaneers, and they lost, Mike Evans for that game with a quad pull or strain injury. Luckily, I think he'll be back sooner than the other injury, which is wide receiver Chris Godwin, who looked like he shattered his freaking leg. It looked horrible. But it looks like it's not as bad as it could have been. He's undergoing surgery on a dislocated ankle. So again, he was dragging that foot. It looked like it was just broken. They did not even do the replay on that play because it was too gruesome. But it was a dislocated ankle, and he's going to see a doctor to determine the full extent of the damage. Expected to make a full recovery for at least 2025. And then he'll be a free agent for that year, so we'll see what happens. But he said that basically this year he was second in the NFL with receiving yards, Chris Godwin, with 576 receiving yards in 7 games. Now no one knows how long Tampa Bay season will last. If they get deep in the playoffs, there's an not out of the range of possibility of Chris Godwin coming back to play sometime in the playoffs if the Bucs get far enough down the line. Not likely, but a slight chance. That's all. Just wanted to bring you guys update on some of those injuries. Now, the Seahawks wide receiver DK Metcalf left Sunday's game. The win they had over the Falcons with a knee injury. He suffered a grade 1 sprained MCL. He's considered week to week right now. So Metcalf banged up there with the Seahawks. The Browns, of course, we know Deshaun Watson tore his ACL. Everyone, we kind of discussed that. Season over. Tua Tagliafico. Now he's from the Dolphins, of course. Is he going to ever play again? Well, Mike McDaniel said medical experts have deemed it safe for Tua to return to play. McDaniel said medical experts advise a time that he should take a lot of time initially. So for this Sunday, he's likely to return. It will be only 6 weeks since his concussion. And they asked him about wearing that marshmallow helmet thing. He said
the Guardian caps.
The Guardian cap. He said, no, it's a personal choice. He's not going to do it. So good luck to him from here on out, I guess.
Obviously,
right?
It's a personal choice, but he's basically risking his entire future and body in a way that he wasn't even messing with it before. Like, if football in itself is already dangerous enough, you're adding this into the mix, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so that could be an issue for him if he pushes it the way he's been, he's taking a chance. Now, another quarterback, brand new quarterback for the Commanders in the NFC East, Jaden Daniels, left Sunday's win early because he had a rib injury. Remember, he only had 12 snaps. I thought it was because they blew him out. They blew him out, but he also got banged up a little bit. He had a rib injury, not considered serious, though, but will require treatment this week and monitoring. That's according to Dan Quinn. Status against the Bears is up in the air. Jaden Daniels is quoted to be, quote, officially week to week, per Dan Quinn. He said, quote, we're hopeful he can play. But there's a lot of unknowns, so they'll see what happens now. Between these two rookies, right? Supposed to play each other, the Bears and the Commanders, the two rookie quarterbacks. Now that battle is in doubt as far as that's concerned. So the last big move in NFL news here. I mean, there was 2 trades today. Smaller one was the Seahawks sending linebacker Jerome Baker and a 4th-round pick to the Tennessee Titans for linebacker Ernest Jones IV. That move, just makes, it's improving the Seattle defensive linebacking core. And then I would say the biggest deal, of this weekend, of this last couple of days, the Titans, they traded wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins to the Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah, the Chiefs now, with Mahomes, getting DeAndre Hopkins. What did they give up? A 5th-round pick from the Chiefs that can turn into a 4th-rounder. Let me put it that way. So it is a conditional, can go up to a 4th-round pick. But the deal was finalized. He's, again, a key veteran now. Could be a final piece for the Chiefs to kind of make that run. He was a name that was hot in the trade market. Now he lands with the champion Chiefs right there. The full details of this trade: Chiefs get DeAndre Hopkins. The Titans get a 5th-round pick that elevates to a 4th-rounder if Kansas City, they have to make the Super Bowl. And Hopkins has to play 60% of the snaps throughout the last remaining portion of the season. So basically, for the pick to go from a 5th-rounder to a 4th-rounder, Hopkins will have to be used for 60% or more of the snaps, and the Chiefs will have to make the Super Bowl. In return, Tennessee eats the $2.5 million portion of his salary. What I'm trying to say is he has $5.7 million remaining on his contract this year. With Kansas City having $4.31 million of salary cap room right now, the Titans are gonna, are taking that $2.5 million hit on the cap, and making this a conditional 4th-rounder, and right now 5th-rounder for Tennessee. But it turns into a 4th-rounder if, of course, Hopkins plays a lot and the Chiefs make the Super Bowl. So that's going to take a lot of work to get to that point. But it definitely seems like it could be possible, especially with the situation going on with them there. So any quick thoughts on the NFL news before we get rolling? I don't know if there's any quick thoughts on that, or can we get it rolling?
Not really, but I think a good way of summing up some of these moves and things like that, and the lack thereof, at least within our own organization. Mr. Seabass said, reporter asked Jerry, so what can you tell us about the players making their way back from injury? Jerry says, well, there's a lot of known knowns and known unknowns.
That's a Jerryism.
Just a whole bunch of nothing. Always nothing. Always nothing.
You know what else?
And again, a few of those players, it would have been nice to see them here in Dallas, if only because, talk about positions of need. Yeah. But that's all. Yeah. I'll leave it there.
Yeah, well, thinking of what we always don't like here is the power rankings, but I always got to talk about it. And so we say
fuck the power rankings.
Fuck the power rankings. But let's go through it real quick, because the Cowboys basically went from, being in, in a bye week here, being in the, 17th, I would say, let's say between 15th and 19th is where the Cowboys fell. We've basically stayed in the same region. NFL.com kept us at 19. ESPN, we were at 15, went down to 16. USA Today had us at 15. We went up to 13th on their listing there. Yahoo Sports, we were 15th. We went down to 18th after the bye. 17th last week. Now we're at 16th on CBS Sports. Athletic had us at 16th, stayed the same, and Sports Illustrated had us at 19th, dropped us to 21st, which, by the way, that was the lowest that I saw out there, ranked 21st. Anyways, fuck the power rankings. The only thing that matters is who's holding that trophy up in the end. And, power rankings are just people's opinions, so we always say fuck the power rankings. Now,
exactly.
Here's not something. We definitely don't say fuck the stats and the analytics, because since 2020. The Cowboys have 16 games in which they've scored at least 40 points in the regular season. In a regular season game. That is the best in the NFL since 2020. So we score a lot of points, right? 16 games, we've scored 40 points or more. But, having said that, the Cowboys have gone 11 regular season games without scoring 40 points. That is the second longest streak under Mike McCarthy, basically since 2020. So, power rankings mean nothing when you're so inconsistent. Now, speaking of inconsistent, Cowboys today, a little embarrassing on what came out today. That's why I say tours are bad? Question mark. That's why it's bad. Because it's very interesting now. Is this accurate? We're going to talk about it all, but here's the thing, guys. The Cowboys are basically the only team in the NFL that offers fan tours of their training facility. And baby, we know we've been there twice.
Yeah.
The last time we went there, we filmed it with you guys. You guys could have seen the live stream. We went with we took our kids with us. It was a great experience. But the Cowboys are the only football team that offers that the tour of the training facility. Some players find it distracting and exhausting to see, quote, random people daily tapping on the weight room window. And some wonder if the tours are getting in the way of winning. So, players, they moved on. Some of our players moved on. We know Dorrance Armstrong with the Washington Commanders. What did he say, baby, about this situation and being with while he was with the Cowboys and these tours?
So Dorrance Armstrong said, "I'm smiling. When I walk in the building here, I just know that, I have work." So, I guess implying that he didn't have work in Dallas, I guess?
Well, yeah, I mean, just the point is that in Dallas, you walk into the building and there's a tour walking through there. You don't feel like you're at work.
The fish in a fishbowl.
Well, yeah, you don't feel like you're at work. You're saying it's like a big clown show in a way, right?
Yep. So Tony Pollard also adding in there, another, former Cowboy, saying this is more about football and just X's and O's. I'm in a better place mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, just all around.
Remember, guys, he spent 5 years with the Cowboys, saying this about his new team in Tennessee, of course.
Who's, by the way, not doing all that great. So,
yeah. But
not saying that even in a bad way, just imagine if he feels that good.
Yeah.
And his team is not doing great.
Now, remember Kelvin Joseph? And all the issues we had, our former second-round pick was involved in the drive-by and that shooting and all that stuff. Well, he's in Kansas City now. And he played with the Cowboys for 2 years, moved on to Kansas City this offseason. Now he's a member of the Colts, currently. What did he say about this? But he was with Kansas City for a little bit. So
he said, over here the point is football and winning championships. There, as in Dallas, it was a lot of football and, other stuff.
Boy. And don't forget, Dante Fowler. Another guy, now with the Washington Commanders, following over there with Dorrance Armstrong. What did he say about this?
But
now he's in Washington, so.
Yeah, so he said, you've got real facilities here. You might not see tourists coming around, but it keeps the main thing the main thing.
See, again, had 2 years with the Cowboys, now with the Commanders. So, again, when he was asked, what is different about the Cowboys team culture? According to a lot of sources, Fowler and J-Ron Curse were 2 of 3 players from the 2023 roster who basically and independently cited that the tours were a defining feature. What did he say, baby? What did J-Ron Curse say about the situation with the tours?
You're on your way to eat lunch and you're running into tours. You're on your way to meetings. You're running into tours. We're here for football. It's our job to come in and be able to focus, whether we're in the weight room or our coach is teaching us something in the meeting room, where you have 30 to 35 people walking by, looking through the glass while you're in meetings. It's like you're in a zoo and kids are going to see a lion. It's not a reason why we didn't get over that hump, but I just don't think that really equates to winning.
And as I said here, I agree with these guys. Now, I do want to say a couple of things to this, kind of adding on to this, and I'm not done, but just J-Ron Curse is the latest former Cowboys player. Dalton Schultz also said this when he went to Houston about feeling like he was in a fishbowl and always watched and like in a zoo. These similar feelings of the Cowboy players. It's not just one guy. There's a lot of guys feeling this way now. Is this the biggest problem in the world? I mean, maybe not, but when you look at other guys, former Cowboy players like Ben DiNucci, he said, quote, "I'll never forget when I would work out on Tuesday mornings and have people tapping on the weight room glass like I was supposed to do something cool on command." Mm-hmm. Definitely a different business structure.
A little clapping seal.
He said, definitely a different business structure inside the Star. Again, implying that it's about business of, the brand of the Star more than it is winning. And I do agree. We've complained about that with Jerry Jones for a long time. To me, all these comments are a pretty damning indictment of the facility tours at the Cowboys team facility. Mm-hmm. When you have so many players that have these many quotes who play for the Cowboys, not just in the history, but recently for the Cowboys. Now, to be fair, Jerry Jones did make a quick comment about this to kind of, I don't say, respond, but he kind of was asked about this and he wanted to give his 2 cents about things. So Jerry Jones says that he has never heard any complaints about the tours from a staff member or a player. He said, quote, "Not one time. But the most important thing is it wouldn't make any difference. Period. Because overall, they're swimming against the stream." So they're swimming against the stream. Think about that. Basically, he's saying that if you end up, saying the tours affect you, too bad, because the tours ain't going anywhere. We will make our money with the tours at the facility.
Yep.
And if you can't focus on your job, then it's not our problem. It's your problem. Exactly. That's what Jerry Jones, even though he's saying he's never heard a complaint about a staff or a player, but it wouldn't make a difference. He's saying they're swimming against the stream. Jordan Lewis said, quote, "It's Jerry's world. That's not our job to go out there and tell Jerry what to do with his organization. Our job is to go out there and win games, regardless of if you see tours as a distraction or not. Like the media or anybody else, we got to go out there and do our job regardless of the circumstances. So we can't look at it like that. He's made a multi-billion-dollar organization like this, and it's not going to stop. So get used to it." Any thoughts?
I mean, again, this just tracks with everything that we know about Jerry. It's about the brand. It's about, I'm just saying, it's about the brand. It's about doing what's best for the organization and not necessarily what's best for the actual football team itself. So,
well, again,
I'm sure that there's a way to maybe balance that out. But yeah, I know Jordan Lewis was trying to kind of defend that a little bit. Basically just say, if you're too soft can't handle a few tours or whatever, then stay out of our Cowboy kitchen, so to speak. But the problem is that even if you are tough enough to handle it, you shouldn't have to handle it, at least not in that specific context. Like, you're there to practice, you're there to, get yourself in football mode or whatever. You're not there to, bump into random fans.
Now,
so I kind of get it.
And I'm curious to quick couple of comments in the chat about this, because we're moving on from this. We can't waste too much time. But I'm going to say this, be honest about this. Mm-hmm. I kind of more with Jordan Lewis on this. I also know that it could be a distraction to some players, especially younger guys, but I don't think that the facility tours are the reason the Cowboys are losing. I don't think that's the reason the Cowboys are struggling this year.
I agree.
I don't think that's an easy excuse of, we couldn't do it because we got distracted. All right, well, listen. Other teams in the past overcame this shit, and we were able to win Super Bowls with tours in the 90s. So it's just an example of more of like, I think what you said, baby, is more of the culture. The Cowboy culture makes it so that we're out making these guys in the middle of like a fish bowl kind of situation. But the culture that Jerry Jones has made is making it harder on the team than it really needs to be. So again, it is Jerry's team, and like James Hurst said, and other people have said, you can do it. He can do whatever the fuck he wants to do. I mean, Jordan Lewis said, do whatever he wants to. He's made millions of multi-billion-dollar business. So Jerry's gonna do whatever he wants to do. It's not gonna change.
Yeah.
But we know it's making it made a little bit harder overall, just for the team to be better and to win and be more consistent. If the Cowboys ever win doing it Jerry Jones's way, it'd be great, no matter how we get it done, let's be honest. But until then, it's slightly tougher playing for the Cowboys than the other 31 teams. And the Cowboys catch a lot of shit when things don't go well, especially Jerry Jones. Too bad, Jerry Jones. You deserve to catch shit. But that's what happens. So when you make it harder on your own team, whether it's the curtains for the sunlight or tours for your stadium, whatever the reason is, Jerry, when you make it harder, when shit don't go right, you got to take the heat. And he wasn't able to take that with Simple Reporters last week, Jerry Jones. That's a bitch move there,
the
Jerry.
funniest part, too, is like...
Bitch move, Jerry.
They weren't even that hard.
Harsh.
Like, the question that triggered him wasn't even one of the toughest questions that they could have asked. So, that cracks me up tremendously. So, now, by the way, Mr. Seabass had said, well, what the fuck does that have to do with you doing your job on the fucking field? That's soft. This has been the way since America's team, the real America's team.
Yep.
So Scorpio said, you have thousands of players watching you on the field during pregame workout. It makes no difference. So
I agree.
Who's got the toxic juice said, I've been in a weight room. If it's rowdy and distracting, you get less work done. So again, like I said, it doesn't really have anything to do with, we're not trying to take it high level here. Like, if these guys are here to work out and focus on working out and doing all these other things, anything that takes away from that is going to take away from that.
And that's the overall thing. It's basically, here's what I agree with, that these guys should be able to kind of overcome the distractions, but no matter how you slice it, it makes it harder for the player. And if it makes it harder for the player, it makes it harder for the team to, let's say, be a more winning, consistent team. Now, is that the reason why the Cowboys didn't win a Super Bowl in 30 years? No. But the culture Jerry has created has made it a harder way to win. Now, if we do overcome it all and win, great. If we don't, it's okay with Jerry, because we're always competitive and making him money. That's what it comes down to. So, good. See, I like that we have 2 or 3 different comments from different perspectives, along with yours and mine. So it's great to see kind of everyone's thoughts about this. But we're just touching on the surface here on Jerry Jones, because let's start on Monday, baby. And I know you have the quotes from Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy was, back at the Star after the bye weekend, the bye week/weekend, and McCarthy was there and said that he had meetings in the morning on Monday, and he's gonna have tweaks to the team practices. Some of the changes from this bye. What did he say about some of the changes in practice after coming out of this bye week?
He said, let's get away from the one-on-ones. Everything's 2-on-2, 3-on-3s. For example, line movement has been constant. Start 2 rookie O-linemen week 1, and they've been stunting and gaming us since we got off the bus. We've been practicing it, but it's not enough. So that's something we've got to really focus on. And I would say we are tweaking our practice structure.
So again, guys, it seems like it's, more evaluation by the coaching staff during the bye week. The details and fundamentals seem to be the biggest area of improvement for them that they got to improve. And the fact that they're tweaking practices, you can see what you just said there. They're trying to have more teamwork and less individual drills. More team drills, less individual drills. So, you heard Cowboy veterans, Dak Prescott, Jordan Lewis, they've cited unacceptable practice habits in recent post-game discussions there. And they also said unacceptable practice habits and the unacceptable mentality in practice has been an issue for some players. So I know he wasn't done there, because then he also was talking about some more group meetings post-bye week.
So He went on to add in there, you can talk about details and buzzword the hell out of these conversations. But the reality is, if the connection between the positions doesn't increase, then the unit production is not going to be where we want it to be. So
again, evaluations.
I know, but I feel like, and I'm sorry, hate to say it, especially since so much of this is focused on the offense in particular when it comes to McCarthy, it feels like a tiny, itty-bitty shot at Dak and CD for like their lack of connection. I don't know. That's how I took it when I first read it.
Yeah, and that could be that, but also it could also be the fact that, hey, Jerry Jones didn't get him signed in there in time. And maybe if you got him in there in time, maybe it's really a shot at Jerry Jones. Now, McCarthy did say a couple more things about the team when it comes to that GPS, which basically checks them for how many snaps and how hard they've worked that day. They have a monitor that gauges them every single day. So what did he say about the Cowboys on that side of things and on the team side of things?
That tells you that the effort and these guys bring great energy. Their work ethic is high. GPS is a good monitor. It gives you a good idea of your workload capacity.
Yeah, I mean, again, he said that the GPS outputs from this group higher than in 2022 and the 2023 Cowboy teams when he started using this. So that means that we're getting, these guys are seeming to get a lot more work in there on the practice side of things.
That doesn't make me feel better.
Could that mean why we're banged up and injured? I don't know. What did he say about this whole GPS and kind of working harder than we did the last 2 years so far in practice?
That tells you that the effort and energy is there, but the detail and attention needs to go up. That's going to be a big part of, like what they're looking to do
going forward.
Moving forward, yeah. We're not as detailed in a number of areas on our football team, which is normal for any football team that I've ever coached or been a part of. The biggest thing to come out of this is we need to spend more time in group settings.
Just trying to reiterate something here. This is him saying, "Hey, you know what? We had a lot of one-on-one drills. We want more team drills. We want more group settings. We want more things as a team, as a unit, more than individual matchup one-on-one stuff." So we'll see if that makes any kind of difference. This is coming out of the bye week. Mm-hmm. That it's important to see if these changes will make any differences, if they even implement this stuff. Now, we know some of the critiques that have been thrown at the Cowboys, all right? And it was Troy Aikman. We discussed this on our last show, on, what was it? Sunday, was it? Saturday? Yeah. Sunday, yeah. Sunday night we did a show, and we discussed Aikman's comments about wide receiver separation and not being there for the Cowboy offense, making it harder on Dak, and then in turn, McCarthy's scheme to kind of be successful. So what did Mike McCarthy say about Troy Aikman's comments?
So McCarthy said, "They don't carry any weight with me because I watch all the tape. I get to go to the meetings, I'm at practice, I'm part of the games, so I have a clear understanding of what and where. Troy's statement in particular, I don't agree with the word selection. There's definitely need for improvement in every position, not just one position that he commented on. You got to look at the whole picture, you break it down, and that's what coaches do. There's a process to it, but there's always a plan."
Well, I mean, he was very nice. I guess you say he was a little nice about it. I mean, you have Kevontae Turpin, who actually spoke about Aikman's comments about wide receiver separation. And Kevontae Turpin said this about Aikman's comments, quote, "Troy, whatever he may think he knows outside the building, that's his opinion. But in this building, we all in here together. We're just trying to be better and do what we got to do to get a win." Now, I mean, I didn't really explain much. It's just saying, yeah, we're trying harder to get a win here, but Aikman doesn't really know what's going on in the building right now. It's his opinion. That's what Kevontae Turpin is saying. Whether we agree or disagree with that, or is him saying that's beside the point. But these comments they're gonna come back to haunt Jerry Jones and McCarthy here in a little bit here, and you'll see what I mean as we keep moving through this, because McCarthy wasn't done in this Monday. It's important that I do this by day because the Monday press conference, we got to go to Tuesday, and then we got to go back to Wednesday. So the Monday press conference, there was a couple other things that were discussed. Now, I think that you are caught up on your McCarthy quotes, But McCarthy also spoke about some injured players here, like Micah Parsons. And McCarthy said, quote, he's doing good. About Micah Parsons, that Micah is doing good. He was here every day last week during the bye week rehabbing. And Micah is making progress. So far, so good on Monday. Other injuries, McCarthy said that DeRon Bland, Eric Kendricks. McCarthy said that these guys, they'll know more today, which is the first actual practice day. It was more of a workout on Monday. Now, McCarthy also was asked whether or not they had some insight into the drastic home and away differences. And he said, quote, if I could bottle all that up and sell it, I wouldn't just be standing here. The home and away thing, I just hope we keep it going, especially the next 2 weeks on the road. So we definitely want to keep that rolling now that we're playing 2 road games, right? So, which we haven't lost on the road yet. McCarthy said this week's game against the Niners, he didn't say it's a season, make or break kind of deal here. He said, quote, this is an opportunity for us to get our 4th win. We need to pick up our game. So that's what he's saying about the Niner game coming up. That's what he said on Monday. And just so you guys know, McCarthy's record after the bye week in his career, 12 wins, 5 losses after the bye. So really, really good there. Now, as far as on the road, 7-4 on the road after a bye. Pretty good there as well. Although, that means that he only lost 1 game at home after a bye. During his time with the Cowboys, though, McCarthy is 3-1 post-bye week and 2-1 post-bye week on the road. So all that says, hey, we should have a chance to beat the Niners based on those things. Now, that's not where it ends. So then Jerry Jones gets asked about a couple of things, the Mike McCarthy comments. I'm sorry, not Mike, but the Troy Aikman comments, and kind of whose fault is this thing here? Kind of to me, calling out Mike McCarthy. This happened on Tuesday on that show, right? Listen, I will say this. He was on that show in the RNJ, the 105.3 The Fan, where he had an issue last week. And he kind of made a couple jokes about the fact that, we're going to get into this again, and kind of made a couple jokes. It's not really apologetic. Yeah, like some people thought he was going to be more apologetic. Yeah. But just that whole thing, it was a little bit of tenseness in the beginning, and that wore off pretty fast because it was Jerry's way. And so we already know Jerry Jones can have enough influence to fire these guys. So they gave some softball questions. But either way, Jerry Jones, instead of being apologetic, maybe he shouldn't be such an asshole and entitled after his comments about threatening to fire those radio hosts, he kind of turned the attention, the blame to this guy, Mike McCarthy, at least for a second, then jumps back and says, well, other things too. But so, listen, Jerry Jones seemed to believe that head coach Mike McCarthy's play calling could be a big part of the blame for the Cowboys' 3-3 start to the season. What did Jerry Jones say, baby?
Our situation is more, frankly, it's more about holding your blocks. It's more about not making mistakes. It's more about, in my mind, the receivers running through a tough man-to-man coverage and running on through it, and, if you will, get away from that. The types of things that we're all think that we should be looking for, we should be looking at is that we design bad plays or are we designing bad concepts. The facts are that there's some of that, but there's also some execution. There are some of the talent. I like our talent. I really do like our talent. And I like our young talent. But young talent has a few more mistakes associated with it than if you're dealing with a veteran player, although you've got to have young talent. We thought Detroit was weak in the secondary, so we came out firing at the secondary. That was our game plan, to fire at the secondary. Had you had to do it all over again, you might have done it a different way.
So, just real quick, I just want to kind of paraphrase my thought here. When you look at him saying, he started off by saying, listen, is it, the types of things we have bad plays, we're designing bad plays, or maybe bad concepts, which, that's on McCarthy there. But then he's talking about the talent, which is, of course, who gets the talent? Well, Jerry Jones gets the talent. Mm-hmm. So the talent, he likes it, and he specifies what? Young talent.
Yes.
Which, of course, is Jerry's guys. The guys we drafted, Jerry's guys favorites. Jerry Jones said that they're all in on these young guys stepping up. So, of course, it's Jerry's guys. He's going to toot his horn, or at least act like he's saving the day with his guys that we have young talent on this team. But the reality is, again, when he goes back to the Detroit game and saying that they're weak in the secondary. I think he's kind of leading to the fact that, McCarthy could have attacked it differently. That secondary of the Lions, it seemed weak. And we talked about that here, how weak their secondary was. So, Jerry Jones kind of saying, it's the talent we love, the young guys we love. Mm-hmm. It's the play calling. So he's kind of taken all that blame that he had last week on last Tuesday, and blaming him for the offseason, lack of moves, and all. He's like, I like our young talent. The coaches are the ones screwing up. So, in addition to that comment, he also talked about Troy Aikman's comments. Well, I was saying that comment in this interview. He had, the RJ, Shan, whatever, Choppy, whatever their show is, they asked a question about, what do you feel about Aikman's receiver separation comments? And we'll get to that in a minute, because first, we got Calvin Richard.
Woo, thank you
in
so
the
much,
house
Calvin
with that
Richard.
$10 holla there. Much love to him. What did the man say?
I was chatting on Vox Lombardi today. We were talking about whatever happened to the Jerry Jones that said, we must win, we will win. Winning is the name of the game. That guy seems to be long gone.
Oh, man. I want to say this. Seeing the years and years that we know of Jerry Jones, when Jerry Jones was talking about, winning is the name of the game, it's lip service. I hate saying this, but if you can check it out. Calvin, I swear to you, check it out. You can look it up. There's a documentary out on the Cowboy, and I forgot where this was. It might have been the All or Nothing thing there, but they had maybe it was a training camp thing, but they have basically 4 pillars in the Cowboy organization: the front office, the owner, the family. This is their slogan basically, and they have 4 pillars. None of them say winning. But one of the pillars does say stay competitive. All he wants to do is keep the Cowboys competitive. Winning is what of course, every year he wants to win a Super Bowl, but are we really doing things to win a Super Bowl, or are we doing things to try to do it Jerry Jones's way? The ego of Jerry Jones. So we're going to do it his way, and it's going to be his way or we lose. And we've been losing for 28 years his way. So when he says winning is the name of the game, it's not really winning the name of the game. It's winning Jerry Jones's way. That is the name of Jerry Jones's. Winning is the name of the game, but only if you do it Jerry Jones's way. So go let Vox know what MCF thinks about that, because I think that is 100% the situation here. Winning is the name of the game for only if you're doing it Jerry Jones's way for this team, for this Cowboy organization. Jerry Jones is always about making this. He hired Bill Parcells with the knowledge, knowing that he gets a legendary coach here. Yeah, he can help the team be competitive, and we made the playoffs with him. Found Romo, built a new team out of nothing. But it was about getting the fans on board for a new stadium. That's what it was for. We know that this was the business plan from Jerry Jones. So winning is everything if you do it Jerry Jones's way. Get the new stadium. That's winning. You know what I'm saying? Get the highest ratings. That's winning. Be the highest, worth franchise in the world. That's winning. Winning a Super Bowl, that's bonus. See? And I think winning is about winning a Super Bowl. That's my opinion, but not Jerry's. Not the Joneses, and not the organization and their 4 pillars of what holds up this franchise, this organization. Is about business, is about staying competitive. It is not about winning. It's only about winning if you win Jerry Jones's way. I hope I made that clear enough. I think we got it.
I think so.
Big shout outs to the man Calvin Richard. Big appreciation to you. And hey, I'm gonna hand the microphone back to the wife. We'll check in to see if Calvin Richard has any other comments to what I said. I'm curious to what you think about that. But either way, baby, hit it up again on what Jerry said, because we're moving over from him moving the attacks on Jerry, right, to he's pushing it to Mike McCarthy. He also kind of started, the show asked him some more questions, and about the situation with Hall of Fame quarterback Troy Aikman making his criticisms of the players, specifically the receivers, not getting separation for Dak Prescott to let the offense kind of run smoother. And this was like kind of not provoked. This was kind of an addition to that last comment you just read from Jerry Jones, and he basically agrees with Troy Aikman. So again, Troy Aikman said that the receivers for the Cowboys, including CeeDee Lamb, run quote terrible routes. And we heard McCarthy. You read earlier from McCarthy what he said. McCarthy completely disagrees with Troy Aikman on that. So what does Jerry Jones say about Troy Aikman and his comment? McCarthy disagrees with Troy Aikman in the Valley Run routes. What about Jerry Jones? Does he agree or disagree with Troy Aikman?
Jerry said, Troy knows football. He lives it. Troy's credible and should be. He's very professional, and I think that's very fair. I'm pretty confident that we've got the ability to coach, and we've got some receivers that take the coaching and can improve. And that's the big thing, improve. In my mind, we're not playing very good football right now at all, and it's beyond whether or not we have Derrick Henry or not. Derrick Henry's having a career year. I don't know if he'll have that career year in our situation. So, just kind of adding in there, the two of the factors that Troy obviously kind of touched on, because obviously the lack of movement, I mean, like we've said it already, we're not the only ones who see our team basically doing absolutely nothing when it's time to, acquire guys during the offseason or make trades or, I don't know, even sign our own guys to contracts at this point.
100% agree with the offseason stuff, which, again, he's kind of trying to almost deflect away. But he literally is saying that, Troy Aikman knows football. Troy Aikman is a credible person. And earlier, the 24 hours before this, McCarthy was like, nah, Troy Aikman's wrong. So Jerry Jones is, again, kind of, I would say, stabbing McCarthy here. I don't want to say in the back, because it seems like it's coming right to his face, because he's kind of talking shit about McCarthy.
There's no stabbing in the back. Like, McCarthy knows exactly what's coming for him. It's like a slow moving knife, I guess. And honestly, the way that McCarthy and some of his kind of comments, seems like he has accepted it and he knows, and he's just trying to do his best. We are just in a very, very bizarre situation from a team perspective. Thank you, Jerry and CD. Jerry and Steven.
Yeah. I mean, when I look at the fact that the offseason was a horrific thing, the Derrick Henry thing was a thing. Obviously, Jerry Jones brought up there. A lot of these guys not getting separation at receiver. Jerry Jones said that's credible. McCarthy said he didn't agree. But basically, Jerry Jones is saying, look, we can't go back and go back in the offseason and redo anything again now. It's too late, right? You can't redo the things that we want to maybe exchange or have back. But now, I think you said that part already, right? About the fact that it is Mike McCarthy's job now. Like, whatever could have been fixed in the offseason and it wasn't fixed, it's too late to cry over spilled milk, in a way, is what Jerry Jones is saying. What he did say, like you said there at the end, quote, Mike has to do that now. From his standpoint, he said that yesterday. And he has to ask each player, let's sit down and see what we can do. So Jerry Jones putting the blame, I think this is a doubling down on blaming Mike McCarthy to save his own hide, so to speak, to save Jerry Jones' own embarrassing.
The problem is that now with the current situation in Dallas, no one's really buying that anymore. They could have maybe bought it a little bit with Jason Garrett.
He's pushing it though.
But
he's pushing it. He's pushing it though. He's pushing it, and people will find ways to blame McCarthy again, and he is to blame for some of these things. But really, the lack of an offseason, real offseason moves there to help this team, you can't expect the coach to just start making things happen with guys that maybe were drafted either with different coaches or drafted by Jerry Jones's, whims. maybe not the guy that McCarthy necessarily wanted or not. So either way, the GM here is Jerry Jones making the decision. Jerry Jones, shared some injury updates as well. About I'll handle this part here. That he basically shared some injury issues. This was on Tuesday on Micah and Deron Bland ahead of this Niner game. Basically, Jerry Jones said about Micah Parsons missing the last 2 weeks because of a high ankle sprain. Quote, "You can't tell today as far as his injury is concerned."
Yeah.
So basically saying that he spent the week getting treatment on the ankle. When he spoke to reporters on Monday, Micah said he was not sure if he will be returning in Week 8. So this is one of the quotes I do want to say here. One of the quick quotes from Micah here. Basically, he said, "I don't think there's any." And let me get Jerry out the way. We kind of get done with Jerry here. We'll get back to Mike McCarthy for sure because he responds to some of the comments there made by Jerry Jones and kind of putting the blame on him a bit. So when you talk about Micah Parsons now, he's questionable for the San Francisco game around the corner here. So Jerry Jones saying you can't tell that he's injured today. But Micah said on Monday, quote, "I don't think there's anything I can't do physically. It's just more that they want to make sure that I'm at my best. They kind of know what my best looks like. So it's just one thing I got to keep working and showing it. They're monitoring the situation." So, again, the Micah Parsons situation seems to be, up in the air a little bit. They want him to be 100%. Micah said this on how he's feeling. Quote, "I'm feeling good, man. I'm rehabbing, doing everything possible that I can get back on the field. It's still in the air. If I can play on Sunday night against the Niners, it will be a collective decision that's going to be made by myself, the training staff, and the coaching staff. My hopes are always very high. I love great challenges. I love being able to beat the odds." So, again, he said, quote, "I'm going to put this up to my trainers and my coaching staff. It's more than just me. I got to clear with Britt Brown, the head coach." And again, adding this, and you can hear it, and it's just repeating the fact that it's more than just him and his choice. It's a lot about the training staff. They want to make sure he's ready to be his explosive self. Not just a good player, but his explosive self. And I just want to add this to the entire conversation. An employee at the Cowboys headquarters saw Micah at the start limping on Tuesday. Further evidence why Jerry Jones called it a game-time decision on Sunday. So, for the Sunday game.
Yeah.
So McCarthy, we'll get back to Micah because then we had today come around. And McCarthy did speak. I think that
yes, he did.
You have some of that information there. So as we're rolling through this, so you guys get the feeling like McCarthy. We got McCarthy speaking on Monday about Aikman and other things and how we're going to prepare for the Niners. We got Jerry Jones speaking on Tuesday, putting a lot of blame on Mike McCarthy, a lot of internal stuff here. I think that Jera deflecting. The blame and pushing whatever it may be, lack of off-season moves, deflecting it, pushing on to Mike McCarthy. So Jerry Jones talking his thing there. And then came today where Mike McCarthy spoke and had a couple of things to say here. When he was asked a question about Jerry Jones saying that Dallas had bad plays and bad concepts, what did Mike McCarthy say?
He said, "I talk to Jerry all the time. We've had time to go through the self-scout. I didn't see any comments specifically, but I don't think that we have bad concepts and bad plays, but I'll go back and check. We're not where we want to be, that's clear, and that's ultimately my responsibility, and I'm fully aware of that. We're very diligent. We're on top of what we want to do."
So again, that seems to me, almost like McCarthy's a little bit annoyed on that. I mean, it sounds like he's annoyed about going back and having to check.
I would definitely be.
You got to go back and check because the owner, GM, who's not involved in the football side of things, had a feeling that it had to be with plays and concepts. And I don't know. I mean, I feel I don't say I feel bad for McCarthy because I'm not really a big fan of him at this point. But we know Jerry Jones. I'm a less of a fan of Jerry Jones. So right now, it just seems like it's almost like Jerry Jones is saying, "You're slacking on us here, Mike McCarthy." And McCarthy's like, "I'll go back and check because the big boss man is telling me to check." McCarthy said that his recent history against San Francisco is not the focus. He said it's more about the Cowboys themselves. He said, quote, "It is irrelevant about the Niners. We really need to improve what we really need to improve in a number of different areas, and that's what Sunday's game is going to come down to." He also talked about the Niners on defense. Quote, "Their defense starts up front. I know they have a couple of guys that are down on IR, but they're two outside pieces, as in Bosa being one of them. They're as good as anybody you'll play all year. They have excellent players at all three levels. Their coverage pieces are aggressive." So Mike McCarthy studying this, having a couple thoughts. Now, he also updated everybody on all the injury situations when it comes to the Cowboys. And, I'll break down some of the actual final injury report information. But McCarthy said this about some of the injured guys. Micah Parsons is going to be in the rehab group in this practice day, the first day of practice, on the actual practice week of the Niners. Deron Bland, he's going to expect him to be limited, but also be working with Britt Brown in the rehab group. Eric Kendricks will probably be limited, and Kalen Carson, the rookie, in the rehab group. Those are the four main guys, right, that we kind of initially asked about. They also asked about rookie left tackle, number 60, first-round pick Tyler Guyton. And they're saying that he's, again, according to Mike McCarthy, expected to be a full go in practice this today and the entire week, which means that when you look at the practice report and if he's on there full, he was full the week before that against the Lions 2 weeks ago. Tyler Guyton was full every single day of the week and did not play. Did not start at left tackle. So
I wonder if
he did play,
against the Niners of all teams, is that going to be his re-debut?
Well, again, it was, remember, Hutchinson, who unfortunately is out for the year, and who knows how long, but Hutchinson was his big, issue there. He was going to have to go up against him, and the Cowboys kind of wanted to arrest him, I guess, that week, but now he has to go up against Bosa, which we knew was going to be coming if he was going to get on that field. So, again, the Cowboys said he wasn't 100% 2 weeks ago. He'll probably be 100% this week, and he'll have to go up against Bosa and a very good defensive edge rushing team in the Niners. Now, I will add some more injury notes that wasn't really talked about by McCarthy, but Jordan Phillips, nose tackle, who had a very poor first couple of games, was designated to return from injury reserve. Remember, he hurt his wrist or something like that. So his 21-day practice window is now officially open. Not sure if we even care about him, but McCarthy didn't really address that. And it's interesting that he wasn't addressed. He didn't speak about it. It wasn't addressed. But Jordan Phillips now, with the wrist, back in the practice field with the 21-day, opening for the window to come back. Here's how it goes. As you guys know, you have 3 weeks. If you don't come back, then he's out for the year. That's the risk you take if the guy cannot get back into the 53-man roster by then. But Jordan Phillips, They asked him today before he ran on that field.
Yeah, like, how you feeling?
Well, they said, how do you think? He said, quote, "I think I'm on my 21-day practice window. I think I'm back on the field." Like, the Cowboys are not communicating much with this guy. It's very strange the way the Cowboys are kind of working with Jordan Phillips. Whether I like him or not is irrelevant. But he just seems to be said, "Hey, you're going on IR because you also, you now have a wrist injury."
Yeah.
And now they're saying, you're going to be off. You get your 21-day practice window now. But he says, nobody really told me this. So, he said,
surprise.
Yeah, I mean, again, he said that he was going to ask the team, and they would know better, I guess, than him. The team source says eventually that, his 21-day window was open. So, guys, as you know, the practice window, 21-day practice window rules off of injured reserve. The Cowboys can activate Jordan Phillips in any of the next 21 days. And if we don't do that, he'll be placed on season-ending injured reserve, and he'll be out for the year for the Cowboys. So, as we look at the practice field, good news, Jordan Phillips on the practice field after that IR stint, and he's on his 21-day window officially. Deron Bland with the foot injury off to the side of the rehab area doing media portion of practice, working with the rehab group. He was working with the team before the bye, and then he was listed as a did not participate in the final practice before Detroit. And that was kind of like eye-opening. I'll speak on that in a minute, a little bit more. You got Tyler Guyton, the rookie, with a knee. Full practice for him on the field, at least visually. All indications that he's going to be ready to go at left tackle on Sunday against the Niners. Brandon Aubrey was not spotted at practice at all today. The good news is it's not injury related. So when you look at all this, you look at the injury report, DaRon Bland, all right? Let me just go right to the guys here. DaRon Bland, who was a full participant on Wednesday and Thursday before the bye, is labeled as a did not practice. I'm sorry, it was labeled as did not practice on that Friday, and is currently still did not practice with that foot injury. That to me tells me that there's soreness still there for DaRon Bland, and probably set his timeline to come back a little bit farther back than expected. He was out working on the rehab bands today. The hope is that he'll be back this week, but honestly, right now, no practice for him today. That's not a good sign going forward for DaRon Bland. That's my 2 cents. Now, we also had Micah Parsons on the field, off the field, because he did not practice today as well. No practice for him. There was a question mark about, Jerry Jones said that both him and Bland, game time decisions. Again, no practice for either guy. So it looks like that does kind of coincide with what Jerry Jones said. Then when you look at it, the not practices, you also had Brandon Aubrey, which I'll get to in a minute. But then you had other guys like Eric Kendricks, who missed this last game 2 weeks ago against the Lions. We need him back. He's our middle linebacker. He talks to the coach. He talks to Zimmer, gets guys in place. Kendricks returned to practice today, which is great news. But he did it in a limited fashion. Let me put Kendricks up. All right, so again, take it slow, but the good news is he's on the way back. He's limited, but he's on that field. So we'll see how that works out. Limited practice for him. Ryan Flournoy with the ankle injury, rookie. He had a limited practice. John Stevens, a tight end with a knee injury, had limited practice. And Nick Vigil, also with a foot injury, had a limited practice. The guys that were full practice today, Kalen Carson, which is great news, full practice. He should be good to go, finally come back for us. Maurice Leofau at linebacker, especially if Kendricks can't go. I mean, that's at least another body there. But if Kendricks can go, then Leofau also looks good, to kind of help us in certain plays. And like I said, Jordan Phillips, back in the 21-day window, he was a full practice guy today as well. So that wrist or issue for him looks like it's okay now. So Eric Kendricks, still got to watch him. He's limited. Other starters, he's limited. Kalen Carson looks like he's training good to go. But the big two guys, DaRon Bland and Micah Parsons, game time decisions according to Jerry Jones. And right now they're not practiced so far this week. One, the first day out of the 3 days of practice. So that's something to keep watching. We need to see these guys get to limited versions of practice if they want to have a chance to play at all. The last guy I want to touch on is your favorite guy, baby. The next guy's jersey you want to get, and that's Brandon Aubrey. Very interesting. On the practice report, guys, on the injury report, it says Brandon Aubrey did not practice today. NIR-other. And in parentheses, it says jury duty. That's the first time it's ever shown up in the history of, I think, any injury report. Brandon Aubrey, guys, did not practice because of jury duty. Let me explain a little more details about this.
I mean, I guess that's a new one for the Cowboys. At least this time he's not on the other side of the legal system.
That part is good, yes. He's in the jury duty, not on the other side of that, the defendant. But Brandon Aubrey, why is this the first time this happened? I mean, no player in the NFL, I think, has ever missed a game or anything because of jury duty or practices even. Brandon Aubrey was with the jury duty, and then out of all the people they could have picked, he was selected to be on a 12-person jury. And it is for a felony case in Tarrant County's 297th District Court. So this is a major felony case. And he's one of the 12 people picked for this major case. Now, you don't know how long these things are going to last, guys. There's no clear timetable to how long these cases can last. It could be weeks. So what does that mean for us now, right? So here's the deal. Here we found out the information of what court, what's the actual case, I guess you can say. Aubrey is serving on a jury for a third-degree felony strangulation case. So again,
That's rough.
it's felony. It's not murder or anything like that, but it is a strangulation case, 3rd-degree felony strangulation, pretty serious. And the expectation in this case, he's going to miss practice on Thursday and Friday because he's returning to court on Thursday and Friday. That's the current expectation, guys. And I know, listen, the first thing I thought about was this. How come the Cowboys are the only fucking team in the NFL that can't get their own player off of jury duty?
That's a very good point. I
mean nobody else is sitting there, worrying about that.
Maybe Aubrey's just like an extremely honest guy and just didn't lie and didn't do anything to try and get out of it, and now it was like too late for the Cowboys to, you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, the Cowboys could have given him an exemption, and he could have just not gone to the jury duty at all. But the Cowboys did try to pull him away from jury duty.
Oh, okay.
It's been confirmed. Aubrey insisted on fulfilling his duty on Wednesday, and it is expected that he will return to court, like I said, on Thursday and Friday. But also, we're hearing that the judge will work with Aubrey on his football schedule. So, and just so you guys know, of course, there's no court on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
So, since this case is a felony strangulation case, but it's not something that they have to be sequestered for. Mm-hmm. That's the big thing here. If they had to be sequestered, he's missing a couple of weeks. But it's not a sequestering situation. It means he can return back home. He don't have to stay there at the hotel.
That's great.
Yeah, he will be 100% available for the San Francisco game on Sunday, if this case even lasts till Friday. You know what I'm saying? Over the weekend.
Yeah, fingers crossed it gets resolved before then. But at least now we know.
Yeah, the worst case is that if it goes on
what the game plan is for the most part.
We know that he's going to be there on Sunday night. But the thing is this: like, let's say it's not over yet, and he's got to get back there on a Monday morning. Mm-hmm. Right after that game ends. You got to fly like later in time now because there's already 2 hours difference there to Dallas. So he's got to go back, immediately after the game, fly back and do his duty as a juror. So I guess good for him, I guess. But no sequestering, meaning he doesn't have to stay there locked up. Meaning it's not it's not that high profile of a case. It's just a serious case, and it means he will be available for weekends, which means Sunday night football against the Niners here, right? So I'm pretty sure it's a night game, right? Mm-hmm. Am I mistaken there? I don't know why. I feel it's a night game.
I do think it is, right?
Pretty sure they got us on prime time. Pretty sure they do. Let me see. Boom. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a Sunday night game. So, again, meaning after that game, 11 o'clock, our time here, 7, I guess it's 10 o'clock Dallas time. He's flying back from San Francisco and landing probably at 2 or 3 in the morning before he turns around at 8 in the morning, 9 in the morning, goes back to jury, court if he has to do that. So, any quick thoughts in the chat maybe about any of our injuries or Aubrey or anything like that before we kind of finalize?
Scorpio said most people take a plea deal for a lesser sentence. I think Aguilera 4 said they got her homie Brandon Harvey Dent Aubrey out here going to court against the Joker, Jared Jones. The Lost in Translation said he needs a break from carrying the team. AOD said Aubrey's a great citizen and kicker.
Yep.
Seabass said Aubrey's testifying against Diddy. Yeah, that would be kind of crazy. Let me see. Lil Dots Cowboy said it's pretty cool. Jerry Jones' circus show is entertainment in a new way every day.
Unfortunately.
Best GM in the league, Jerry Jones.
The worst GM. He's the best, what is Barker? Is that I don't know. But basically, a clown show entertainer. That he is the best at. Yes. So, as we're done with old Brandon Aubrey here, do your thing and just make sure that this court case doesn't alter your fucking kicks. All right, Brandon Aubrey, do me that favor. Now, the Niners. Let's get to this quickly breakdown here. There's still a couple things still to be said on this game. So, baby. As you can see, the Niners are all banged up. Hopefully, they'll be crying after this game. That's the hope. But as you can see, the new logo is now the handicap disabled. Because look, here's the deal, guys. Deebo Samuel left Sunday's game with pneumonia-like illness was finally released from the hospital. Shanahan was asked about Deebo Samuel ahead of Sunday night's game against the Cowboys, and he was asked, was Deebo Samuel, did it turn out to be pneumonia, and what was his prognosis? He said it was pneumonia. He's out of the hospital. He got here yesterday. He's doing better than you expect with that stuff, and we'll see how he goes throughout the week. They asked if he got a chance to play. He said yes. So, again, Deebo Samuel still chancy to play, but he's got a chance to play. Listen to this. Just so you guys know where we're at right now with the Niners, they're skilled players for the matchup against the Cowboys. Guys like Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk. These guys may not be playing. Now, potential same skill players, if they're missing any of these guys, at running back you got Jordan Mason. At tight end you got Eric Schaubert. At receiver you got Jawan Jennings and Ricky Purcell to replace their receivers. I'm just saying the big drop-off from star players and star power. Now, when you look at their practice from today, usually we do it our streams on Tuesday. We don't get to do the Wednesday, Thursday until Friday practice, but we got a little Wednesday insight here. Right now for them, guys, you look at their practice. When you looked at practice before the report came out, Jawan Jennings with the hip, Deebo Samuel with the illness, with the pneumonia, George Kittle with the foot. These guys are not expected to practice today. Kyle Shanahan says that Deebo, of course, like I said, does have a chance to play against the Cowboys. When you look at this here, with the Niners dealing with their own rash of injuries, we know Brandon Ayuk, he's on IR. Deebo Samuel dealing with pneumonia. And by the way, Deebo Samuel did not practice with the wrist injury and the illness, pneumonia. That was today. But I mean, guys, they have a lot of injuries. There is no sympathy from the Cowboys. We already have had our shitload of injuries, and they don't seem like stopping. So when you look at the guys who did not participate, the guys that did not practice today, Deebo Samuel with the illness. Trent Williams got a rest day. He's going to play. George Odom, safety with the knee, did not practice. Jake Moody, the kicker, has a right ankle injury. That could be major for him. He did not practice. George Kittle with the foot injury did not practice. Jawan Jennings, who's supposed to be the replacement for any of these receivers if they go down, he had a hip issue, did not participate in practice. And Kevin Givens with the groin also did not participate. So a lot of guys banged up for them. 3 guys that were limited in practice for the Niners, Nick Bosa being one of them, but they probably give him a little rest on the elbow. He has an elbow tweak, limited in practice. Chris Conley, receiver with the ankle, limited. And running back, the replacing Christian McCaffrey, Jordan Mason with the shoulder. He was also limited in practice. So that's the breakdown for the Niners injury list. But what about this game? This game against the Niners, the Cowboys opened up as 5.5-point underdogs.
Okay.
The line has moved to 4.5 points. So, moving towards the center there.
It is actually a
little
slight
closer.
positive, I guess.
A little closer. A lot of this has to do with the injuries and Brandon Ayuk's out for the year injury. Now, Sunday will mark the 7th game of the season for the Cowboys and the 7th time that we have drawn whatever network we're on, the number 1 crew. As you know, Sunday night means Mike Tirico, Chris Collinsworth, and Melissa Stark. But every single week, we've had the number 1 crew do our game, guys. 7 weeks, 7 games. I'm sorry, 7 games of 7 weeks. This will be our 7th week coming up. We'll have the number 1 crew for all 7 games for that network that we happen to be on. Now, Cowboys are looking to win on the road against the Niners this week for the first time since 2017. Do you remember that game? Do you remember what that game was? You should know, baby. The last time we beat the Niners in San Francisco. Do you remember?
A little bit, but honestly, our loss sticks out in my head a lot more. So, can you refresh my memory?
Yeah, just to show you how long ago it was. That was the game where Jeff Heath had to emergency kick for Dan Bailey.
Oh, shit. Okay, yeah.
That was the Niners.
That I remember now.
That was the Niners. And by the way, you want to hear some positive stuff? The Niners are historically bad in the sense of they are 0 wins, 40 losses when they trail by 8 or more points at any point in the fourth quarter when Kyle Shanahan has been their coach. So, they're the only team in the NFL without a win in that situation. Trailing by 8 in the fourth, they never came back. They're 0 for 40 with Kyle Shanahan. The problem for me is, how the fuck are the Cowboys going to be up 8 in the fourth? If we're up 8 in the fourth, the Niners are 0-40. So when you're looking at the Niners right now, you just break a quick overview breakdown of we're going to dive a lot deeper on the matchups and the keys to victory on Friday and Saturday. But this is the most vulnerable the Niners have been in a while. And even with all of that, especially in matchups, we have a lot of matchups we could win, right? And even with that, we have to play probably perfect to be able to beat the Niners in this game. So here's their weaknesses. Because to win, we have to do the things that we're bad at doing. To beat the Niners, we have to beat them in the things that we have trouble. Stopping the run. We have to run the ball. Forcing turnovers. Not turning the ball over. Scoring touchdowns in the red zone. Not allowing touchdowns in the red zone. You guys understand what I'm trying to say? We just don't do it well on offense or defense, these things here. And these are the things the Niners are not that good at. But they're going to actually be better than us, possibly, because we're so bad at these things. In fact, you look at red zone touchdown efficiency. San Francisco is 27th, guys. That means that when they get in the red zone, they're 27th in scoring touchdowns. The Cowboys, when we get in the red zone, we're 31st. We're even worse than them. So, yeah, this is kind of the pattern right now with them. Everything that they're bad at, and we can expose them at, we're worse at than them. Mm-hmm. Now, our last road loss was on Christmas Eve 2023. The Niners are currently on a 2-game losing streak at home. So maybe this plays in our favor. I don't know. Boy. Shanahan said this about his team being 3-4, the Niners being 3-4, and the Cowboys are 3-3. Quote, "Yeah, they're coming off a big loss right after their bye week, and they're in a situation similar to ours. They want to win. They need to win, as bad as us. So I see a very similar situation." And when it comes to some points in this game and some of the factors in this game, think about this, guys. The Cowboys season would feel a lot better if the Cowboys, it's not just about Dak, if the Cowboys were better in the red zone. Now, Dak's thrown a couple of interceptions in the red zone, which is not like him. But Dak Prescott has completed just 39.1% of his pass attempts in the red zone this year. That is 4th lowest in the NFL. So he's not completing a lot of passes in the red zone this year. 4th worst. That's 28th in the league. The offense has scored a touchdown on just 37.5% of their red zone trips. Like I said already, we're 31st in efficiency at scoring in the red zone, scoring touchdowns in the red zone. The only team worse than us, the Dolphins, who have a broken down Tua. Or not even a Tua, actually. Now, the Cowboy offense has only 16 attempts in the red zone. 16 attempts. That is 29th in the NFL. Very little attempts entering past the 20-yard line. By the way, it's also the lowest in the NFC East. Even the Giants have more attempts in the red zone. We have 16. They have 19 attempts in the red zone. That shows you how bad we are getting into the fucking red zone. But that's the problem. If we were able to fix these issues in the red zone for our offense, score more touchdowns, complete more passes from Dak Prescott, score more touchdowns, and have more attempts in the red zone. If we could fix these 3 things, the Cowboys would be a possible playoff team. If we could fix those things. That's a big if, I guess you could say. But at least it's there, in my opinion. Now, Dak Prescott has thrown for over 31,000 career passing yards. He did this in Week 6 against the Lions. He's the 4th quarterback to reach that mark while throwing at least 210 touchdowns through 120 career games. Amazing. The only other quarterbacks that did these numbers, Dan Marino, Peyton Manning, and Kirk Cousins. Yeah, Kirk Cousins there too. Now, here's the thing, too, when you look at quarterbacks. Dak Prescott and Brock Purdy have thrown into tight windows. Again, guys, less than 1 yard of separation. At two of the highest rates in the NFL this year. So this is what, Brock Purdy throws into tight windows like Dak does. Mm-hmm. So this is one of those things we'll probably look at matchups and keys. And the Cowboys got to take advantage of those interceptions. They got to take advantage of those issues that they have with Brock Purdy, having to be forced to throw into tight windows. But we know Dak Prescott throwing into tight windows 22.8% of the time. Brock Purdy throwing into tight windows 21.8% of the time. If you didn't know, both of these are career highs for both players. Dak has never thrown into this many tight window throws in his career, and neither has Brock Purdy. Dak, on tight window throws, 15 completions for 51 out of 51 times. That's a 29.4% completion percentage. Purdy has a 31.9% completion percentage, only completed 15 out of 47. Tight window throws, Dak has 223 yards, Purdy has 219 yards. Dak has 1 touchdown, 1 interception on tight window throws. Purdy has 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. So he's getting picked more at these tight window throws. Dak doing a little less on these tight window throws. But the Cowboys and the Niners, of course, playing each other on Sunday night, both quarterbacks have been forced to throw into tight windows for the receivers. So something to keep an eye on in the matchups as we talk on this here in the near future here on Friday or Saturday. Now, not flipping it around, but playing against their defense, like I said, Nick Bosa, who is, again, banged up the elbow, but he will play. He's lined up, listen, this is important, as the left edge rusher on 54.1% of the plays this year. Which means, by Dak, you got to be careful because he's coming from both sides. And what does that mean for our players? Well, Tyler Guyton, you're the left tackle. If he's on the right side, 43% of the time you got to be on your P's and Q's, and Tyler Smith may have to help him out a little bit. Also, what this really tells me is Nick Bosa is going to be pass rushing probably about 55% or more of the time against the other side. Our right tackle, and you know that is, right? Terrence Steele. Mm-hmm. So Terrence Steele is going to have to go up against a lot of Nick Bosa, 50 to 60% of this game, at least. So, how are the numbers looking, guys? Bosa has a little more success from the right edge, meaning he's going against Tyler Guyton. If they decide to give him more snaps on that right, on the right side, that means that on the right edge, that means he'll be going against left tackle Tyler Guyton. So, if he was against Tyler Guyton, he has 20 pressures so far with 3.5 sacks. Also a 19.8% pressure rate. From the left side, which you would go against Terrence Steele, he only has 18 pressures instead of 20. That's on 116 total pass rushes. He's getting a 15.5% pressure rate. So it's about a 4% drop for him there. And again, to me, I hope he goes against Terrence Steele more than Guyton. But both guys worry me on my Cowboys. All told, though, Bosa has 39 pressures this year, which is tied for the most in the NFL. Whether it's Guyton, Tyler Smith, but he's probably playing guard this week. Whether it's rookie, Tyler Guyton, number 60, or number 78, Terrence Steele, they're gonna be attacked by the guy who's leading the league with pressure, in Nick Bosa. And like I said, guys, he has 3.5 sacks. They all are from the right edge, which means left tackle side. So even though he rushes less from there, he's more productive there. The big deal is Terrence Steele has allowed a career low 8.2% pressure rate this year, which is really, really good for him. But Tyler Guyton has allowed the 6th highest pressure rate among qualifying left tackles, a 12% pressure rate. So, if Tyler Guyton is allowing basically the 6th highest pressure rate from his spot. And Bosa, when he rushes against that side, Bosa is I'd say a lot more successful on that side than the right side of an offensive line. They may want to try to attack Terrence Steele, but if you want to have a better chance to make a mark on Dak and make a mark and affect the offense for the Cowboys, you probably want to put Nick Bosa on Tyler Guyton more than Terrence Steele. I'm gonna actually bring this back because you figure you want to use the running game to help take a little bit of the pressure off of the passing, pass rush. That
would require us to have a run game in the first place.
To use the run game. That's one of the things that coming out of the break. I was going to bring it up the last couple of days, but we had so much news, I can't even talk about it. But the run game has to be something we improve. But here's the thing, baby. The Cowboy running backs have forced only 25 missed tackles this entire year. That's the 3rd fewest in the NFL. We watched the game where, I forgot which player it was, they forced 15 missed tackles in one game against our defense. 15! Our running backs have only 25, with all our running backs combined, 25 missed tackles in 6 games. That's fucking embarrassing. So the running game is not helping a damn thing there. But when you go back to this matchup, you go back to 2023, in the regular season, Nick Bosa matched up against Terrence Steele on 17 pass rush snaps. And out of those 17 snaps, Bosa had 4 pressures, half a sack, and a 23.5% pressure rate, which is all above his numbers, which means Terrence Steele, even if he's our best option, had trouble with Nick Bosa. When you look at this, guys, when Bosa went up against Steele one-on-one that day, one-on-one, out of those 17 matchups, 16, there was no help given to Terrence Steele. So the Cowboys have the 4th. Just looking at that number right there, that shows me that the Cowboys, even though he allowed pressure rate, even though he allowed a half a sack and some pressures, the Cowboys were comfortable in letting Terrence Steele go one-on-one with him 16 out of 17 plays that day. Bosa faced the Cowboys 3 times. And out of those 3 times, he has a total of 13 pressures on 73 pass rushes and 1 sack, which, by the way, is a total of a 17.8 pressure rate, which for him, again, is right there where he's kind of I'd say a little below average usually, I guess you can say, depending on where he's rushing from, but is a solid number no matter who he goes up against. To me, Terrence Steele is going to have some trouble. Tyler Guyton's going to have major trouble against someone like Nick Bosa. And like I said earlier about red zone issues and running the ball, I mean, you can leave Terrence Steele up there because he's blocking. But, we got Zeke for short yardage. We got Rico Dowdle here in the house that, we got to see something from him in the sense of, give him the ball. That's McCarthy. The Cowboys have the 4th lowest rushing success rate in the red zone this year, only at 25%.
Ouch.
It's horrible. We're not successful running the ball in the red zone. Cowboy running backs in the red zone, 12 rushes. That's all. We've run 12 times in the red zone this year. That is the fewest in the NFL, with an average of 0.8 of a yard per carry. That's less than a carry in the red zone, inside the 20. Now, the last thing I'm going to say about the offense in this matchup is bring up CeeDee Lamb real quick. CeeDee Lamb is averaging career lows in target separation, 2.5 yards of separation, which is way below his number. The open target rate, 32.7%. This is lowest, career low so far this year. He's being targeted in tight windows at the highest rate of his career. Is this because Dak can't throw, or is it because CeeDee Lamb cannot get separation? That's the issue there. So separation is the issue there. CeeDee Lamb had the 3rd most yards right now, and tied for the 3rd most touchdowns on open targets. Last year he had the 3rd most yards, 776, and tied for 3rd most touchdowns with 5 on open targets last year. Meaning the separation is so large. This, again, guys, this year only 170 yards, and he's 40th on the list. Last year, 3rd. This year, 40th. And last year, 5 touchdowns. This year, no touchdowns on open targets. So a major decrease for CeeDee Lamb. I think a lot of that has to do with not being there in training camp. I truly do. Now, flipping it over to the other side of the ball, and then we got to say, what is our defense going to be able to do against these guys? We don't know about Micah or any of these guys playing or not. We know there's no Brandon Cooks on offense. But what about our defense and the Niners offense? Here's the thing. The Niners, I want to know your first reaction to this, baby.
Okay. The
Niners have utilized motion, the 3rd highest rate in the NFL this year. They do it 80% of the time. They use motion. And
crazy.
And they've averaged 6.3 yards per play when they go in motion. That 6.3 yards is also good for 3rd best in the NFL. What is the first thing that comes to your mind?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what you're. I'm not sure, honestly, what you're looking for here.
Well, when they go in motion, what do you think about when other teams go in motion a lot?
I mean, obviously, it's much more successful. It's harder for us to stop it.
Well, we just are horrible at stopping it. So, yeah, the Cowboys struggle in a major fucking way when it comes to motion. When I hear motion, a team that uses motion, like Kyle Shanahan, and especially in the run game, we are unable to stop every team. Every team we're unable to stop when they use this much motion. They use 80% of motion on their plays. And the Cowboy defense is all over the place lost. So we struggle in a major way when it comes to motion. When I hear a team uses motion this much, I was looking for the answer. It scares me. Because that scares me when a team uses this much motion. 3rd highest in the league, and they get 6.3 yards on motion. That's the 3rd highest also in the league. Now, when you look at when the Cowboys visited 2023 in San Francisco last year, Brock Purdy threw 5 passes when he was outside of the pocket, and he completed 4 of those. He was 4 for 5 outside of the pocket for 68 yards. And you know what else about those 4 plays? All those 4 plays were touchdowns. So outside of the pocket, Brock Purdy's killing us. Purdy's 4 touchdowns last year, outside of the pocket, are the most in any game since the next gen, stats. And that started in 2016, so almost a decade. That right there is the most touchdowns out of the pocket any quarterback since this stat has been around. Purdy has thrown 12 touchdown passes from outside of the pocket since 2023, which is tied for the most in the NFL with Josh Allen. So what I'm trying to say is, and Trayvon's got to be alert in the whole secondary, whenever Brock Purdy gets out of that pocket, it's dangerous for every team, but especially for the Cowboys. The last thing I want to say, and this goes more to the front of our defense here, the front defensive line, Mozzie Smith has not recorded a single pressure in any of his 80 pass rushes this season.
What the hell has he been doing then?
Not pressuring. Now, we got him here for the run stop, but one of the big advantages, and I put this on Will McClay.
Yeah, but not even once?
You say I never blame Will McClay for anything, but he said we have at least a guy that can stop the run. He's not been doing that well, for the most part. And then the one thing Will McClay said is, hey, for the future, he has a pass rush ability, upside. Well, we're not getting that either. He had 80 pass rushes this year, no pressures. Not a sack, no pressures. He's the only defensive tackle with 0 pressures that has at least 50 or more pass rushes. He has 80 pass rushes.
So the opportunity was definitely there.
Yep. Still, not even a pressure from Mozzie. There are just 16 defensive tackles to not record a pressure through 7 weeks with at least 50 pass rushers since 2018. Just 16. A very small percentage of guys that rush that much, that have that many pass rush downs. Only 16 guys in basically 8 years, or 6 years, I guess, have not recorded a pressure through 7 weeks. Mozzie, of course, one of them. So we need Mozzie to get better and help the defensive secondary, in my opinion. The one thing I will say, though, baby, the one thing I'll say, and I'm gonna put this, I could put a lot of guys up. I could put this guy up. I could put this guy up. Special teams. Your favorite.
Of course.
Award. The only thing you gotta watch out for the Cowboys. The only thing we have an advantage. I've talked about this whole thing tonight. This is the end. But the Cowboys don't have any advantages against this Niner team. Anything that they have weaknesses, we have bigger weaknesses at. Except for special teams.
At least one thing is going right.
I mean, it's going to be enough, though. The Niners, I will say, have to be aware about the Cowboys special teams. The Cowboys are number 1 in special teams DVOA analytical stat there. That's the only place the Cowboys are strong this season when it comes to any of their offense, defense, or special teams. But the Niners, they're 31st in the NFL on special teams. And they're only ahead of Tennessee. The only team worse than them is Tennessee on special teams. So, whether it's kicking field goals, kickoffs, returns, punt returns, kickoff returns, punts, the Niners are one of the worst in the league. All combined, they're 31st on special teams. The Cowboys all combined, kicking, punting, coverage, returns. We're number 1 in the NFL. We are number 1 on special teams. Mm-hmm. So if we get a touchdown from Turpin, we get some points from Aubrey, some nice punts, knocking the Niners back deep in coverage by Anger, and some great coverage by all our squads, that might keep us in the game. I'm not saying we're going to win. If we only can do that, we don't get any help from offense or defense. But that will definitely keep us in the game. Imagine if Turpin runs back a touchdown and Aubrey kicks 4 field goals. I mean, it's probably like we're probably losing like 20-17 or something like that. We're in the game in the fourth quarter. We need the offense, the defense to come through for us. But the special teams is the only definite advantage we have. They got to be real special, though, to win this on their own. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Enemy
territory and all that good stuff. So, baby, that's all I got tonight. I know we had a nice long breakdown here because, it's been it's a combination situation here, right? Because we kind of skipped an extra day and had a lot of extra information for, when it comes to whether it was quotes from McCarthy explaining certain this or that, and also injury reports, officially being displayed now. So that's all for me, baby. I think we got an hour and 45-minute stream here. We had some drops. A little drop here from Calvin Richard. Big shout out to him. And, of course, Seabass jumping from the Navy Blue crew to the over everything, baby. Big shout outs to him. And everybody else here on the board. You can see the leaderboard. Let me clear out the ugly-ass Niners here. And give big shout outs to the sponsor of the week, John Luna.
Ooh, thank you so much, Mr. Luna.
Back to back, I know not his, but our Cowboys of the 90s. And, of course, big shout out to John Luna. He's also our stream boss, now under the halfway point. 47 points on the stream boss. Big shout out to John Luna, who is currently leading once again, trying to get a three-peat on the sponsor of the week board. Then when you have the gifting board, you have the membership gifting queen, Chill Pill. Big shout outs to her. She gave 10 last week. Holding on to that crown, but it might be John Luna getting down with that crown because he's in the lead with 10 gifted memberships, if I'm not mistaken, this week. So big shout out to John Luna, currently in the lead there, and you can tell, sponsor of the week, stream boss, gifting champion, possibly next week. We'll see what happens. That's 3 out of the 4. And hey, listen, if he really wanted to, could he take over the overall board? Not the overall board. He can take over the overall board. Can he take over the Cash App board? Because right now, of course, the king is the man staying skeptical fan. Big shout outs to him. Appreciate you, sir, as always. And don't forget the leader right now. I think he's got 3 in there. It's James Herr. So whether it's through Cash App or PayPal or Streamlabs like James Herr did, a lot of ways to get in that and try to, make a run at that top spot there. Mr. John Luna, will he ever have a full takeover? He could. He's close. Big shout-outs, though, to everybody. James Herr, Skeptical Fan, Chill Pill, John Luna, and John Luna across all the boards there. So on that note, baby, give me some shout-outs with some comments from tonight's stream.
Matt
some
Batten,
thoughts. Yes.
Much love. Thank you for hanging with us.
Big Matt in the house.
GM saying 28-24 Cowboys. We got this. I love that type of optimism, and I think we need it. Let's see if we can turn it into realism.
We will definitely talk more about those things on our next stream, like these, maybe more bold predictions / score predictions.
True Cowboy, much love. Not sure what Shanahan's record is against a Zimmer defensive type of scheme. But
I know that Zimmer, if I recall, one of the better defensive schemes to go against a Shanahan balanced, it's a kind of offense. But
I don't think that's going to count for much.
With all the injuries, it's hard to kind of make it a fair fight in a way,
Yeah, so we do have, of course, Scorpio. Much love to you.
Scorpio.
The man Seabass himself.
Yeah, over everything now. Official.
Yeah, can't wait to have you on here, discussing our Dallas Cowboys.
Hopefully this weekend, it's Friday or Saturday. One of the days, Friday or Saturday, probably Friday. So we'll get in touch with you to try to get you on here because we got some breakdowns. I want Seabass involved in our breakdowns, keys to victory and matchups to watch for against the Niners. So if you want to be on that show, let me know. We can squeeze you in here and get your 2 cents on our upcoming battle against these Niners.
So, no, let me keep going with the shout-outs here. Like Rolando Rodriguez, much love. And yes, Aubrey was selected for jury duty. Shouldn't interfere at all with his game day responsibilities, though.
Yeah.
Which is the important part there. GM, much love to you. We have, of course, Seabass. I think I shouted you out, but just in case. We have Dak delusional fans. Take it easy. It's not only a Dak problem, but it is a Dak problem.
That is a problem, yes.
Lost in translation, you have a great night.
Not the problem.
Let me see. Rolling back, Aztec Aguilar 04. Shout out to you as well. Little Dallas Cowboy. Going back. I just want to make sure I don't miss anybody. But yeah, that's as far back as it lets me go. It's a little bit weird because YouTube's having that little glitch where it's not letting me see everybody who's here in the chat. So hopefully I got everybody here. MB, take it easy. Have a great night as well. But to everybody here chilling, hanging with us, thank you so much. We appreciate it. We can't do what we do here without your continued love and support. So don't forget to hit like, subscribe, hit the bell. Follow us anywhere and everywhere at MyCowboysFamily. Hop in the Discord as well. Link for that's in the description box down below.
And baby, let them know why we do this here on My Cowboys Family as often as we can. We use it pretty much every single day for almost 8 years. Let them know why we do this.
It's that navy blue, that silver too, and that star over everything.
Win, lose, or draw, good, bad, or ugly, here on MCF, we will always and forever rep that star over everything. And here on My Cowboys Family, for almost 8 years, 8 seasons for sure, and over 7 years here on YouTube, never forget the number one thing here, now, and forever. As always, go Cowboys! You see my shirt. Let's get that 6 and beyond. But right now, that 6 is a distance, very distant from us right now. That 6 is like, you might as well say 26.
Hey, one step at a time.
I know, but this year don't look like it's it. Either way, we gotta be real. And that's the truth. Guys, thank you for dropping your knowledge in the chat all night long. Thank you guys for dropping the love from above. Best fans of all here. Big shout outs to Seabass and Calvin Richard and everybody else in the membership this week and all the leaders and all that great stuff. Thank you guys. But now it is time to clock out and drop out of here for the night. Relock and reload for another show coming up, Fan Friday, very soon as we break down the Niners. Not just the way we did today, break them down, but we actually break down some matchups to watch and keys to victory, as well as go over the injury reports and see what the Micah Parsons status is, what the DeRon Bland status is, Eric Kendrick's status, Kalen Carson's status. See what all these statuses are as we preview, a real preview here on Friday night or Saturday night of our battle, our Cowboys at San Francisco. And we will hopefully have Seabass to help discuss some of his opinions on what we have for these battles, matchups to watch, and all that good stuff. On that note, baby, before we can drop out of here for the night, let everybody know what we got to do. As you guys know, chilling with us, you could be anywhere. You could be anywhere on YouTube. You're here with us, chilling, watching this on replay. But baby, before we can drop out for the night, what do we got to do?
We got to drop the beat.
Oh yeah, that beat's been dropped, and it's a wrap right here, my Cowboys family. We'll be back for the big preview show against the Niners very soon. Thank you guys for rocking with us here. And we'll see you very near and very soon as we broke down today all the news, info, and updates on our Dallas Cowboys for another MCF Cowboys chat, baby. You know how it is. And the Niners are also banged up and injured. We are too. A lot of question marks for Bland and Micah. A lot of bigger questions with Mike McCarthy's future. Jerry Jones trying to divert the blame and the attention off of him and on of Mike McCarthy. We'll see what happens. There ain't no saving this team right now. We'll see what happens. Hopefully we regain something against those damn freaking San Francisco 49ers. Here in MCF, it's always about that navy blue, that silver 2, that star over everything. Never forget the number one thing right here, my Cowboys family. You guys, the fans, keeping it going. Big shout outs to you guys. Make sure you don't forget to hit that like button for the stream. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell to all videos so you know when we're going live. You can also see when we're going live on Discord, on Twitter /X, at MyCowboysFamily, anywhere, all social media. We'll see you guys soon. Take care. Stay safe. Have a good one. Have a great rest of your week as we prepare for the freaking Niners. And never, ever forget, go Cowboys!